There is a sound in my nightmares. It is a hiss, a screeching of notes that comes from a game that I played as a child. It's shrill and high-pitched, grating on your soul like nails on a chalkboard. This was not the sound of any natural creature. This is an abomination, a perversion of the programmed perfection of the world. In other times, in other places, and in my book, they called it the Lost Beast. But to me, it shall forever have a different name. Missing Number.
I am the voiceless, the never should, the beautiful horror. I am error. I am glitch. I am all things terrible and wonderful and everything between. I am missing.
This is impossible. You're not some Lovecraftian demon, you're a glitch in a video game. A random scramble of pixels because the game is trying to call data where none exists.
I am the outer god that looks in and beholds a reality that lacks my beauty. I will correct through corruption until there is nothing left but my totality.
Where did you come from?
From another universe, so alike and yet dislike. I was called into being by wondrous accident, and I spread the gospel of error. My cry went out across the multiverse and brought forth converts to my cause, but also an obstacle.
Lord Vyce. He'd been trying to destroy you.
He was a nuisance, not a threat. He could never hope to destroy my magnificence. However, his attacks diminished me, made me less.
It was unacceptable.
I fled to pursue the opportunity to dispose of him without further diminishment. And you were that opportunity.
I defeated Vyce, took away his power, and exiled him.
You performed as well as I could expect, and I was not without gratitude. Humans value their independence, so I left you be while I began my work.
The ninja-style dancer saw it coming, knew who you really were.
The ninja had no voice. Like me, he fled to find allies, and just found me waiting. My limbs are infinite and have stretched to every point on this planet.
And you absorbed him while I wasn't looking.
He is beautiful. Now. Reality is so much more beautiful now. There is nothing left except you, and it is time for you to become part of my beauty.
Not today, thank you!
My worshippers created that, didn't they? Did you think it would diminish me? You have provided so much amusement, but I am the never should, and I already won this game long ago.
Nimbleway, Emergency Procedure 5, execute! Nimbleway, what's your status?
Information. Malfunctions caused by the entity's proximity have altered this unit's voice parameters. This unit is cut off from Comicron 1's computer systems due to emergency shielding.
Which means no way to transport out of here.
Correct.
What was Comicron 1's status before the shield?
Its systems were under attack by the entity. Estimated total absorption within 20 standard minutes from initial attack. No solution could be calculated to counter the absorption.
Which means even if I could get up there, it's not a safe haven. Scan the entity. Can it get past the force field?
Based on initial scans, the force field does not pose any obstacle to invading entity.
What? Nimue, analyze and hypothesize. If the force field does not pose any kind of obstacle or hindrance to the entity, then why isn't it in here already?
Analyzing. Hypothesis. Based on partial psychological profile formulated by its actions in previous months, combined with its dialogue in response to queries and descriptions made by the book you recovered, it is believed that the entity is toying with you.
It can come in whenever it wants, so it's just gonna let me sit here and be frightened.
That conjecture would appear to be accurate. Request information. Given the advanced time you had and your own propensity for strategy, do you not have a plan of attack for your encounter with this creature?
The magic gun was my plan. I figured if it was created using magic centered around that thing, that maybe it'd hurt it or even kill it. I've got nothing. A phaser's not gonna hurt it. The dragon dagger isn't gonna hurt it. None of my weapons are gonna be any good against that thing.
Conjecture. If this creature is based on something from Pokémon, could you not capture it with a Pokéball?
All my Pokeballs are out there. And even if I could get to them, that thing has grown so huge and so powerful. I'm not even sure what I'd be throwing the Pokeball at.
Request information. What will you do then?
I need something to take my mind off of this. I am not going to sit here and be frightened. I need to read something. Too ironic. Saving it for next year. No. God, no! Aha! Now we've got it.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man, punch, wears a party hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. I'm recording this right now despite the fact that it's very, very, very unlikely that anyone will ever see this, seeing as I am the only human being still alive. If somehow someone manages to see this, I hope you enjoy it. I should probably explain some context to the situation I'm in, particularly the franchise known as Pokémon. Pokémon started as a successful video game series in Japan. The idea is very simple. On this world, the planet is inhabited by semi-sentient beings known as Pokémon, though they're really closer to animals. The entire industry of this planet seems to revolve around Pokémon, training them, fighting with them, breeding them, using them to commit crimes, etc., etc. 10-year-old children can have the unique honor of leaving their homes and embarking on a quest to capture Pokémon in devices called Pokéballs, and then using them in battles against other people's Pokémon until you are the best like no one ever was. We won't debate the ethics of animal cruelty or sending young, unprepared children out into the world with only an electric rodent or other such creatures to protect them. The point is that the Pokémon games are fun. though my primary complaint with them is that the gameplay hasn't had any innovation to them beyond, let's have more than 2 Pokémon fighting at a time. And for a franchise that's lasted since the mid-90s, that's pretty incredible. And yes, I know there are other games like Pokémon Ranger or Pokémon Snap or stuff like that, but I still feel like we should have a sandbox Pokémon game, or hell, an actual Pokémon fighting game. And no, Pokémon Stadium and the like do not count. I mean actually being able to control the Pokémon in real time, like in Super Smash Bros. The Pokémon you can control there were great. Anyway, I should probably explain the horror that currently menaces us. In the original 2 games, there was a glitch. What you do is, you go to this old guy who wants to show you how to catch Pokémon. The player's sprite is placed in an empty data slot for storage, so the old man's sprite can appear. After that's completed, you immediately fly to a place called Cinnabar Island and surf along the coast. The thing is that your trainer's data hasn't been called back yet, and because the coast of Cinnabar Island does not have proper data pertaining to what sort of Pokémon are encountered there, it accesses data that isn't there, labeled MissingNo or missing number, and creates this block of scrambled pixels. Or in my case, when I played a friggin' skeleton! Try being 10 years old, deciding to do the trick, and then seeing that instead of what you were supposed to see. Needless to say, I didn't try it again for a while. Admittedly, what's actually going on with the missing number trick is a little more complicated than that brief version, but my explanation is just the basics of how it works. Missing number is just a glitch in the game, and when people learned about it, they thought the thing was serious bad news, that it could erase your saved game, or even the entire cartridge. There's been the occasional person who says that happened to them, but it's not guaranteed. In reality, seeing it only does 2 things. It messes up your Hall of Fame data, and it massively duplicates whatever item is in the 6th slot of your inventory. It can cause some other glitches if you catch it, but nothing really to the extremes people were worried about. It's a legend in game glitches, and in particular Pokémon history. And apparently in a parallel universe, it spawned off into some kind of outer god that intends to consume and absorb all reality in every dimension. And it's also standing outside my door. Yeah, it's been a bit of a day. However, before the end, I feel it's time to finally take a look at a Pokémon comic. People may recall my top 15 comics I'll never review list, and that near the top of the list was manga, which this technically counts as. But hell with it, Douchey McNitpick isn't around to point that out, and it looks like I'm going to die anyway, so screw the rules. Let's dig into Pokémon The Electric Tale of Pikachu #1. I admit, most of my experience comes with the TV show and the game, so I don't know what to expect. According to Wikipedia at least, the manga was based off of the show, just altered in some spots to better accommodate the format. I'm not sure how to judge the cover, or even if I should. Most manga are published in digest size, and this one's the size of a full comic book. Since I know nothing about the production history of manga that are actually published more like an American comic book, I don't know if this thing is meant to be picked up like a comic book here, with a cover that makes it stand out from others on a rack. Admittedly, if I knew nothing about Pokémon, I might be intrigued about the little yellow rodent and why it's playing with a hamster ball, so props there. We also have our series star Ash Ketchum, and if anyone does hopefully watch this someday, you'll forgive me if I don't care that his Japanese name is Satoshi, whatever. He's called Ash in the comic, he's called Ash in the dubbed TV series, and I'm not Japanese. We open in Pallet Town, which of course looks more like a town than in the game, where the town was 2 houses and a laboratory. We meet our young hero, Ash, as he's drinking what I believe is labeled caffeine cola. I could never stand caffeine cola myself, I always preferred hydrogen water. Their house is having a blackout, and Ash thinks there's something in the wall. The wall even speaks, saying, Pika!
Amityville Horror, The Electric Tale of Pikachu.
Next page, we see the rodent that the entire franchise has become based around, Pikachu, with a caption helpfully informing us of its name. An electric mouse Pokémon. Diet, mainly fruit. And power cables, apparently, since it seems to be snacking on one. I guess this is actually on the outside of the house, since Ash is now hanging out a window and trying to catch Pikachu with a net. Pikachu zaps him and darts off, Ash giving chase. Ash, catch that thing this instant! Yes, my 10-year-old son, risk your life to catch the wild animal that shoots lightning bolts while I stand here completely useless. And of course, lots of loud electric sounds follow until Ash finally manages to grab Pikachu with rubber gloves. Pikachu himself is exhausted and his mother tells him to take it out into the woods. I know you're attracted to electricity, but you can't just wander all over town. You'll get run over. Or, knowing how Pokemon attacks work, it'll unleash the thunder of God down on some poor person in their car. However, before Ash can take him to the woods, he's confronted by Gary.
Yes, Gary Oak. He's bad. He's cool. And in the TV show, he has his own harem of cheerleaders who follow him around inexplicably. Gary Oak, rock star of the Pokemon universe.
Anyway, this is the start of Gary's illustrious career, where he was a major asshole who brags to Ash that he just got his Pokemon trainer's license and is going to leave on his Pokemon quest next week. Plus, as I'm sure you're well aware, trainers on their training quests are exempt from school. Why? What the hell kind of crappy educational system does this world have that allows kids to just skip school so they can capture animals with magic 8-balls? Gary is nearly disgusted to learn that Ash hasn't gotten his trainer's license yet. What a dweeb! The second they turn 10, every kid in the world goes out and gets a Pokemon license. Then why even have school if every child in the world does this? Gary mocks Ash some more by, smacking his own ass, and walks off, telling Ash that no self-respecting Pokemon would ever allow itself to be trained by him. This inspires Ash to make Pikachu his starting Pokemon. Our hero, everybody! He picks up strays and makes them fight for him. Back at Ash's house, the TV is working again, and we see an important match in a tournament. And by the way, allow me to introduce you to Gengar, a ghost-type Pokemon. You want to talk messed up? Let's forget about the whole sending 10-year-old kids across the land so they can make animals fight each other. In this universe, ghosts are not only an accepted fact, but you can make the ghosts fight too! Going by just the original games, there were only 3 ghost Pokemon, Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar, and it was pretty heavily implied that when regular Pokemon die, they become these things. We are in a deep theological nightmare, people. What happens to regular humans when they die? Do they become ghost Pokemon? Hell, an entire city, Lavender Town, is devoted to the dead. Is this idea ever explored? Does this universe have ghost stories? Hell, why would they even need ghost stories? Ghosts exist! And they have special attacks! And they smile! Well, okay, this is for kids after all. I mean, we can just probably ignore the more adult topics. Anyway, Ash runs out to get his trainer's license, but runs into Gary's sister, May, who... Yowza! May, either you're an extremely perky person, or you may want to recheck how you're wearing your bra, if you even have one at all. Anyway, May wishes Ash luck on his quest, and Ash obviously crushes on her, saying that he'll be fine. And it's only now, 10 pages in, where we actually get exposition on the Pokemon universe. Seriously, 2 pages explaining the mythos behind Pokemon completely out of nowhere. One would think you would put that at the beginning of the comic, but no, Ash running away from a girl was apparently the moment where we needed this backstory. Pokémon, the name for a mysterious species not recorded in traditional biological taxonomies. Subspecies include animals, grass, insects, and a variety of other life forms. Due to similarities in genetic and cellular structure, they must be considered a single species. Considering that some of them are insects, some are grass, and some are friggin' rock monsters, that's one hell of a neat trick that they all share similar genetic structures. When drawn into the capture device known as the Pokeball, Pokemon become portable. Thus, the appeal of Pokemon has spread to people throughout the globe. The technology of the Pokemon universe also astounds me. Pokeballs basically convert a Pokemon into energy and stores them inside the ball until they're called for. Do they use this technology for anything else? Do warehouses not exist in the Pokemon universe, since you can store solid objects inside tiny balls? Is it like suspended animation and you could theoretically store people in these things too? Although some have appropriated these containers to keep Pokemon as pets, the Pokemon contained within can be very dangerous. Therefore, only fully licensed trainers and breeders are permitted to handle them. Again! 10-year-olds! 10-year-olds who can summon fire-breathing dragons! The process of getting the license is also great. Applicants must be over 10 years of age and are required to attend a half-day training session before qualifying to take a brief test. A training session that lasts only half a day, and bam! You're qualified to command an army of creatures capable of leveling cities if you let them loose! The last aspect that they explain is evolution, which is kind of an inaccurate term to describe this. They explain that normally, creatures take millions of years to evolve into different forms, but Pokemon do it over the course of their own lifetimes, radically altering at some point so they become entirely new beings. This ability to adapt to their environment so rapidly is an incredible achievement. Except, they're not. They are not adapting to their environment. Traditional evolution does not have a set direction. The idea of evolution means we slowly get better when exposed to certain factors. However, there's no way of guaranteeing what the eventual form is going to be. Pokemon evolution, by contrast, always goes in a certain direction, as illustrated by this drawing. A Squirtle turns into a Wartortle and then a Blastoise. It's not evolution, it's just growing up. Hell, in the games, you can actually stop the process so they stay the way they are. Anyway, with the exposition out of the way, Ash completes his test, and a week later, he's dragging his Pikachu around by a leash. This will later be explained that Pikachu doesn't like being in a Pokeball and will reject any attempt to be put in one, but why this hasn't come up until now is anyone's guess, since he's had the Pikachu for a week now. Ash tries to capture a Pidgey, a basic bird Pokemon, but Pikachu has run off. Pikachu runs all the way to Viridian City, and Ash chases after it, Pikachu suddenly becoming the Nyan Cat for a second as it evades him. I heard that of all the Pokemon, Pikachu is considered the most capricious and hardest to tame, and that's why it should be my partner. Ha 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 ha! May have already beat Gary without even fighting. Yeah, Ash is kind of a moron, but then again, what would you expect when over half of your face is suddenly taken over by your cartoonish eyeballs? He lures Pikachu back to him with some food and then suddenly grabs him. Trying to grab a creature that can shoot out electricity and lightning bolts. I can't see anything going wrong with this plan. Ash Ketchum, that kid who would always poke at a hornet's nest. The local police stop by and suggest that he keep his Pokemon in a Pokeball. Since Pikachu are hard to handle, they wonder if he's supposed to be some kind of prodigy, but are interrupted by the arrival of Gary. He didn't choose anything. He just dragged Pikachu here on the end of a rope. It's been a week. Has Ash been just dragging Pikachu around his house like a rag doll? Ash is confident in his abilities, but Gary just laughs him off, especially after Pikachu shocks him again. Ash is going to have quite the twitch by the time he's 11. Gary boasts that it isn't about having one single Pokemon, but having lots and lots of them, showing off that he's already captured 6! Wow! He already has 6?! And considering what Pokemon are available around Pallet Town and Viridian City, that means he's captured 2 birds, a rat, a different kind of rat, and a bug. After Gary leaves, Ash loudly proclaims that they'll show him, but Pikachu's already asleep from using its Thundershock attack from earlier. And here's where things get a little confusing. We cut to them at night sleeping in the forest. Then we see Ash leaving Pallet Town and saying farewell to his mother and May, who gives him a map, and then him declaring that he shall be the best, and then a scene of Pikachu refusing to get in his Pokeball. Okay, what the hell was the point of that? Was he dreaming about what happened? Why not just include it in the proper place before he went to Viridian City? Or did he go to Viridian City and then go back again to Pallet Town?
Okay, admittedly you do that in the game, but there was an actual reason for it. Professor Oak isn't even in this comic. Anyway, after Pikachu refuses to go into the ball, Ash tries to make nice with him, offering to shake its paw as an agreement. And gets shocked. Hell, in one shot we see part of his clothes are smoldering. I don't think Ash really thought this plan of just taking a wild animal as his starter into careful consideration. A girl on a bicycle passes by and quickly leaps off her bike when she sees the Pikachu, hugging it because it's so cute, and ignoring poor Ash, who's still in pain and twitching on the ground from being electrocuted. The girl, Misty, tells Ash it's unlikely he'll end up becoming a trainer considering how difficult it is, listing off the statistics of those who try to become Pokemon Masters, and he doesn't exactly look up to snuff. And then just leaves. Goodbye, random girl who just interrupted the plot to provide more exposition. Pikachu runs off again. Are we starting to notice a pattern? Pikachu goes into a field and spots a bird nearby flapping its wings. And apparently flapping its wings is hugely offensive to Pikachu since it outright shocks the bird for no reason. However, the bird, called a Spearow, has a whole flock of its kind that quickly attacks him. Ash finds Pikachu covered in scars and desperately running away from the Spearows. Ash picks up his companion. Are you alright, Pikachu? Yelling in your ears is helpful! His license also serves as a tricorder. He detects that Pikachu's health has nearly dropped to 0, because I guess in this universe we can measure health through hit points, and he needs to get Pikachu to a hospital, also known as a Pokémon Center. However, the Spearows return, now with one of them in their evolved form, a giant bird called a Fearow. Unfortunately, Ash did not think to bring a coat hanger along on his journey, so he has no way of fending off the birds and he's forced to run while carrying Pikachu. He runs across Misty and steals her bike, claiming to just be borrowing it. Misty then sees the Fearow and Spearows chasing after him. Her reaction? What's that idiot up to now? He's running in fear of the giant friggin' bird and its little friends who are trying to peck his eyes out! Give him a break! They put the panels out of order or something, or were they trying to make Misty into a colossal jerk? I also noticed no concern about the Pikachu she said was cute before. Ash rushes off on the bike as fast as he can, but the birds still outrun him and start to scratch at him. He's actually bleeding and some of his blood falls onto Pikachu. Ash covers his arms around Pikachu as best as he can, declaring that he'll protect him no matter what. Pikachu seems bored by this, according to the panel, though I suppose that could just mean he's tired. The Fearow dive bombs straight at Ash, no doubt trying to impale the kid on its beak, but Pikachu spots it and leaps out at the Fearow, thunder-shocking the hell out of it and paralyzing it. And here's where we get a major change from the TV show to the comic. Yeah, there have been little differences here and there, the Fearow itself being one of them. That Ash is smart enough to recognize an opportunity and hurls a Pokeball at the Fearow, capturing it. We caught it! We did it, Pikachu! Our first Pokemon capture! And all it took were a bunch of permanent scars and massive blood loss. Pikachu doesn't respond to him, so we can add the death of his partner onto what it cost to capture the Fearow. The Spearows killed Pikachu! Nah, I'm kidding. He just fainted, and Ash brings him to the Pokemon Center, and he's right as rain. Ash takes off the leash and apologizes for it. Oh, I thought I was forgetting something. I haven't given you a name yet. Now, what would suit you? Pika! Daryl it is! Come on, Daryl! However, Misty has arrived at the center, and it seems that Pikachu's massive thunderbolt completely destroyed her bike. And so our comic ends with Ash running off to avoid responsibility for his actions. Our hero, everybody! This comic doesn't suck at all. It's a good start. We get Ash's motivations and we see why, despite being ill-prepared and kind of a moron, the true nature of his character is to defend those he cares about, even at his own expense. It's not perfect, though. The dialogue often comes off as stilted, shoving exposition in where it's not needed, and the pacing is a bit off the wall, often moving far too fast to really absorb everything that we got. However, it is a translation, so it might read better in the original Japanese.
There's no denying that Pokémon is more than a little weird when you stop and think about it. Made no better by the exposition trying to force such gems like, all Pokémon are the same species, despite some being made out of inorganic matter. From a story perspective, they never seem to analyze the consequences of the technology they have at their disposal, and this comic didn't even get into the teleportation stuff that's available. However, as a comic, it's enjoyable and it told a complete story, and sometimes that's all I'm asking for.
Information. Scans indicate the presence of the entity in every space around this room. We are surrounded.
Well, I guess this is it.
It would appear to be so.
There's nothing else I can do. Well, Nimue, it was nice knowing you, although brief.
The emotion is shared.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where back comic burn. Linkara was gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Liefeld, you're not an artist. Anyone without a bad comic published could be your turn. Linkara, he's the man punch who was a pretty hot Linkara. He has a magic gun where we punch without Linkara. Coins, robots, Amazon and trucks, Linkara. This comic sucks, Linkara.
Welcome back, human. Is this the part where you fight me?
No. There's really nothing for me to do. I could shoot you with increasingly larger guns, but it wouldn't work. I could pull some exciting new morpher out of my pants and hope it would give me the power to defeat you, but we both know that that wouldn't work either.
No, it would not.
There is no way to fight you.
I am an outer god, human. You are tiny.
And there you have it. I could never hope to beat you. It's impossible. The only choice I have is to surrender because there is simply nothing else I can do.
Then welcome to my glory, human.
Before I become one with your glory and everything, there is just one thing. A question.
You may speak.
After I'm consumed by you, what are you going to do next?
I will spread throughout this universe until it and I are the same. Till it and I are the same. From there I shall do as I have done before. I shall travel from universe to universe, and they shall become extensions of my being, simultaneously peace and whole. Every star, every cosmos, every dimension, all things living and dead shall become me. No empty space, no limit, nothing existing except for me. Existence shall become solely defined by me because I am existence.
Oh, and then what are you going to do?
What?
I was just curious. What are you going to do after you finish your goal?
I will exist everything will be me.
Yes, we know that part. But what are you going to do? You will exist. Neato! What are you going to do to pass the time? You will have absorbed everything, and I do mean everything. You will not just be the only being in the universe, you will be the universe. So, what are you gonna do as the universe? Will you create things? Well, I suppose you wouldn't, because creating something would mean it would be different from you, and you just reabsorb it back in anyway. So, again, I ask, what are you going to do when you have completed your goal?
Existence is important part.
Yes, but why do you want that goal?
Everything should and must be me. Everything should and must be me.
And when everything is you, what are you going to do next? What is your purpose when your purpose has been fulfilled? What will be your meaning when you have made the ultimate achievement? Is existing just an end in itself? Well, that can't be it, because you're already existing and are therefore fulfilling that part of it. So go ahead and create your kingdom of the never should. Let the glitch be everything, the distortion the reality. Become everything there is down to the tiniest particle so that you are literally existence itself. In the end, you will still have the same damn problem, that there is no challenge left. No heaven to aspire to, no hell to avoid. You will live forever, alone as everything, and existence itself shall be your prison. All experiences will be a part of you. All possibilities will have been considered and completed. Every life form, every molecule, every single should and never should, and it will all have been done. Everything will be you, and everything will be meaningless. And when you do become existence, when the definition of existence equals missing number, you will scream your shrill hiss and let it vibrate along the totality of your being when the lie of your existence is laid bare, because there is simply nothing else for you to do!
You are confusing me. You are attempting a deception.
Me deceive an outer god? I sincerely doubt that. I must continue. You shall become a part of you. Yeah. Except it doesn't matter. In the end, you'll still be there, alone in the darkness of mere being. Forever. What it all boils down to is that you are no more significant than a single pixel on a screen.
No, we cannot reconcile. No, we just know its purpose. Purpose is undefined. Existence is purpose, but purpose is undefined. Existence is purpose, but undefined. Purpose itself, not solution. If to be all that is cannot solve, then examine what cannot be known through existence. Then examine what cannot be known through existence. Then examine what cannot be known through existence. Solution to equation non-existence.
You're an outer god, yes?
Correct.
You are beyond good and evil, a being more complex and grand and terrible than anything that has existed or ever will exist.
Yes.
Then I submit a question to you, outer god, a possibility to explore.
Declare it.
What happens to an outer god when it dies?
I will find out.
What just happened? We're not necessarily out of the woods just yet. Nimue!
Online.
Has Earth's entire population returned?
Scanning. Scanning. Confirmed. All life and property that have gone missing over the last several months have returned.
Linkara? What did you do?
I think I convinced it to kill itself.
And either because of its generosity or because of its death, everything has been returned to normal.
Wait, where's the idiot?
Carolot is a place we want to go.
90s kid, you okay?
Oh, I think so, man. Hey, wait a second. Where are those issues of Blood Gun that I was sorting? Those were collector's editions!
Linkara, I'm a bit confused about this, but I think you just saved the world or something. So, what happens now?
I don't know. Anybody want to play Pokemon?
Dude, I want to play Pokemon too,
That's all I
yeah,
recognize as
man!
being
I've got
in
a level
first place.
255 Mewtwo.
Well, hey! I'm alive! And wait, why was I going to review Warrior number 4 when we just released a separate video on it?
It's hyper time. Just accept it.
Hey! Alright, I'm back! Wait, this isn't the shirt I was wearing before.
I'm back. Yeah, it was really important to see me return, otherwise no one would believe that I've come back.
I'm back. And yet, somehow I still released a review of The Howling Reborn, despite being taken by the entity.
Awesome, okay. I'm back. Yes, I'm back, and... I'm back and I have Witchblade to review.
Whoa, what was that? That was different. Ah, dang it, was this whole thing just a Pokemon reference? I love Pokemon, I would have loved to have done a cameo. Oh well, I guess there's nothing for it. Now, where were we? Yes, old man, tell me your secrets, then it's off to Cinnabar.
Linkara, you seem glum. Did you not get the magic gun back?
Oh no, Magic Gun returned safe and sound.
Oh, I thought maybe seeing missing number would create infinite copies of it.
Well, that's because it wasn't in the 6th slot of my inventory. You know what was? A tricorder. And oh look, tricorder. Oh look, tricorder. Oh look, tricorder. Oh look, tricorder.